Hi, this is Doug, and I've got Tate on the line with me here. What we wanted to do is walk you through a couple of these ideal prospect profile samples to give you a little bit of the backstory about how we created them and some of the components, uh, thinking that it'll probably help you to understand this so when you go through to build your own, you can have that much more information. So I've got Tate on the line. He's going to jump in as we get further. But first of all, what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through the major components. What we're looking at here is our sample for the first-time triathlete. And we have just sort of made up this website, myfirsttriathlon.com. This is all fictional. We're really not working in this market, but it's a good sample, as you know, and we've used it in some of the examples. We'll use it as we continue through the different modules. So the major components here are target market, niche, and ideal prospect. So it goes from general to specific, and I'll cover those a little bit deeper here in a second, but I want to walk you through all of the major elements. Next thing is within your ideal prospect, you've got demographics, primary needs, qualifications, and traits. This is a single sheet of paper that gives you all the information you need to know about your ideal prospect, and it's really powerful to get it down to one, maybe two at the most pages. So let's go back up to the top. Target market is kind of the general definition of your market, within the world at large. So we have, in this case, chosen the name endurance sports. That could have been, and as we were discussing it, I think, Tate, we had some other possibilities we were going to use there, right? Do you remember any of those?
That was just sports, and decided that was way too broad. And then we thought biking, but it didn't include everything in triathlon. So we went with endurance sports because it covered everything that wasn't too terribly broad.
Yeah, it was like competitive sports. No, that could be, professional and, football and all kinds of things. And then, was it individual sports? And, well, that includes, wrestling and ice skating, so pretty happy with that definition of the market. And this is not something you go to some website or you look at a book and there's like a list of markets and you can choose from. You define it based on a conversation with yourself, like that, to just pick the term that's narrow enough to make sense, but not so narrow that you're not allowing yourself to have a market that has multiple niches. And that's kind of the next level. The niche is triathlon. So within endurance sports, there's marathon running, there's
mountain climbing.
Yeah, possibly mountain climbing, although that might be extreme sports. But there's biking across the country. There's mountain biking. So within there's a bunch of different niches. The niche we're working within is triathlon, so that's pretty clear. And then the ideal prospect, so the person we're selling to within the niche of triathlons is the first-time triathlete. And I love that one because it's really clear. I mean, as soon as you know the name of that person, you already start getting some idea of who they are. But where you really drill into who they are is with these other elements. So the demographics give you all of the statistics, all the sort of really, very specific things that you can kind of put a number to or check a box. Primary needs is probably the most important thing. That's the thing that's going to drive everything that you do in your perpetual prospect system going forward. So it's important to understand those pretty clearly, and it really should be 3 to 5. I mean, definitely not more than 5, not less than 3. Primary needs, and again, I've probably said it before, but needs, desires, wants, it's all the same thing. We just call it needs. Qualifications are how you is really how the things that will tell you where this person is in the continuum of resolving the problems or the needs that they have. So it's more about time, like where they are in the process, whether they're just, maybe they haven't even started the process or they're at the very end. And based on what you're selling, this has a lot more to do with what you're really selling to this ideal prospect than anything else. And in fact, it occurs to me, Tate, that it might be a little difficult to fill in the qualifications if you haven't yet selected a product or done the next module, which is the LGL. Because if, like, for instance, if we, in this case, we're selling an ebook that is about buying gear and training, really, to address these needs that are here. But if you have maybe a product that's designed for this target market, but it's more about what to do the week before your triathlon, maybe you'd have some different qualifications. But we can talk about that as we get a little deeper. And then finally, traits. Traits are the things that are just sort of the qualitative, the different elements that help you understand how to speak to this person, the little nuances of what's important and what gets their attention, a lot more about who they are, really rounds out the picture of who they are. So let's go through this. In the demographics, we've identified someone fairly young, 20 to 35. They're either male or female. They live in the United States. They're a white-collar professional, middle to upper income bracket, and they live in an urban area. So with just that, you should start to get a picture of who this person is. So you can see the demographics are very helpful. Anything else to add there, Tate?
Well, nothing except why we may have chose these different demographics. One reason we did choose these demographics were they were young enough to be the people who were wanting to complete the first race. They white-collar professional and middle to upper income bracket means they can afford the gear. Live in an urban area, that was just our idea of what that person might be. Speaking of what our idea is, this is a fictitious person, so it's whatever we think that this person is.
Yeah. And, there's probably not many more demographics that you would use either. I mean, it's sort of like who they are, male, female, where they live, what they do for a living, what their income level is. Those are the most important things. So primary needs, we put they're looking for guidance on purchasing gear. They're looking for a training plan for strength and endurance. So what gear do I use? How do I get in shape? And then really overall to build confidence for their first race. So they want the facts and the information so they can go into their first race with a high level of confidence. We probably had, beyond these three, we probably had on the drawing board, maybe 5 or 6 possible primary needs.
Right, and then we just brought it down to this to give us a much more pinpointed, clearer idea of the actual need of this person.
Yeah. So there's things that we took out, and it's most important to go through that process of elimination so you get down to the core, the primary needs that's driving this person. Now, qualifications, what we came up with here, I'm going to just kind of list what we came up with, and we can talk a little bit more about it. First of all, this person is qualified to buy the ebook that we're selling. So qualifications mean is this indicating that it's somebody who's most likely to actually buy based on where they are in their overall process. So we're looking for someone who's definitely committed. So they've gotten past the point of kind of kicking the idea around. They've said, I'm going to do this. I'm committed to completing my first race. They've kind of crossed that mental milestone. They're seeking expert advice. So they're definitely looking right now for who can I talk to learn to kind of fill these needs, to build my confidence and learn about the gear and the training plan. So they're actively seeking expert advice, and they don't have the gear they need yet. So it's kind of like they've gotten started, but they haven't gone so far that they're, 1 week before their race and already have resolved all of this stuff. So those are the kind of the three things that if we were able to know those three things about every person, we would know whether or not they're qualified for the offer we're going to put in front of them. So qualifications is a little thing that does get people hung up. And like I said earlier, if you don't know yet what you're going to be selling to this person, and that's totally fine, then you probably don't need to spend a lot of time on qualifications. And as we've already emphasized, this is an iterative process. You're going to get something down on paper and start using it, and then you'll be adding to it as you go. So don't get hung up there, but it is it is useful to have before you ultimately get into making offers.
Right. And qualifications could also help you to either find or create your product, because you could use that to extrapolate what your person needs. You put down the needs, and then you can fill those needs with your product and create the product to fill those needs.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So if you don't know what they should be, just put something down. What would it be? What would be ideal for you to have? Have this person. What state would be the ideal state for them to be in? Our stage. And then traits. This is kind of fun. It's where you really get the picture of the person. So we put down, this is a person who likes to look and feel cool. I mean, they want their bike to be cool. They wear the great sunglasses and it's about looking and feeling cool. They're very competitive. They're committed. Now, actually, I didn't say very competitive. They're competitive. You could put, if this was, maybe a different angle we were taking, it could be hyper competitive or overly competitive, something like that. But it's just a competitive person. They're committed. They're healthy. They have a healthy, fitness-oriented lifestyle. They're motivated and driven. They're organized. So if you go into their, the better picture you can get of this person, the better. So I always kind of think, what is the picture that goes with each of these? So, like, organized. You walk into their garage. There's going to be a place for everything. It's going to be nice and neat. It's going to be clean and, probably have posters on the wall even. It's that kind of person. They're very methodical. They're fashionable. They like to be seen as a leader and a trendsetter. So this is somebody who not only will go through these steps, but once they've done them, they'll share them with other people. So they'll say, hey, if you're, I just did this triathlon, and here's how I went about it. And they love telling the story of their adventure. They're personal, social, extroverted. So anything else to add there, Tate?
The only thing I can say is these are the traits that actually paint the personality of the person that you're wanting to sell to.
Yeah. It's very, very important, and you'll probably get more, and these are things you can add to as you do surveys where you really start learning factually who are these people that are buying from me. So hopefully that helped. I would assume it would, to get a little bit of a walkthrough of our sample here, and good luck on creating your profile. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.